I'll tell you right now, you guys don't even know what took place in that basement gym.
10 pounds of fish.
10 pounds of fish.
10 pounds of chicken.
10 pounds of chicken.
And a couple turkeys.
A couple turkeys. I ended up losing my breakfast in this video. Well, I could put it into words, right? But for me, this was a good version of me. I guess maybe that's kind of the point in all this. That dude just smacked my ass. What's going on, guys? Evan Centopani here for Animal. Today, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Figure we'd take a break from the kitchen. I know you guys love seeing me in action, but somebody had an idea. They said, you know what? We're gonna send you a list of videos. They're all pertaining to points in your career. We want you to maybe give some background on what was going on then. You know, it could be anything from you know, what was your training like at that time? What was nutrition like at that time? Maybe just what was going on in your career, just kind of you reflecting on it. So I said, yeah, sure. I haven't reviewed any of the clips. I figured I'd keep it a surprise, something that you and I could share together. So yeah, I figured I'm gonna watch these clips. I'm gonna figure out a way to show it for you guys as well, so you can see what it is I'm commenting on. So without further ado, I guess this is me reviewing my career in bodybuilding. So let's begin. First video. Oh yeah. This was the 2005 Atlantic States, my first competition. I was 23 years old here. Man, the conditioning. I killed myself for this show. Oh, I was miserable. I was hungry. I was dead to the world. I had no reference point. I didn't know, look at that rear double bicep. I didn't know what it was supposed to feel like, but I knew for sure I wasn't going to get up there in a pair of posing trunks and embarrass myself. So at this point, I had already been training for, geez, I don't know, 6-7 years, like pretty seriously. And I came down from maybe 270 pounds and I just got shredded. And I was 225 on the dot here. And so I was at the top of the heavyweight class. I ended up going in and winning my class and the overall. Oh, here comes, I think they're gonna show maybe the lineup. Oh, there's me winning my class. Nope, now here's the overall. So guy to the right of me is a super heavyweight and the kid to the left of me was a light heavyweight. This was the one and only time I ever competed as a heavyweight. Everything after that as an amateur was a super heavyweight, and then once you're a pro, oh my God, look how young I look. The dude to the right was big, and when I won, he was pissed. But we actually became friends afterwards. Man, can't help but wonder, you know, like if, say, Classic Physique was around today, and I, you know, had gone that route, how would I have fared? Now, keep in mind, I'm 5'11", 225 right here, already, you know, at 23 years old. So, you know, I'll be honest, I'm not even sure what the height and weight limits are in Classic. So I don't know how I would have done, but it's kind of cool looking at this physique. I mean, this was a physique I was really, really happy with. And, you know, of course, as a bodybuilder, look at that tricep. As a bodybuilder, here comes that rear double again, which was just so nasty. Whoa, the hamstrings, the calves, the back. Dude to the right of me was in good shape too, though. He was big. Man, can't help but wonder, though, had I kept that streamlined look and not just chased size, you know, how things might have went. It probably would have been a nicer look, but they were competitors, right? Wish I still had that hairline. Happened die. Yeah, I was tight. Look how young. All right. Oh, look at that most muscular. That's dry and hard and full too. You know, kind of makes me think about the fact when people say, well, how do you know if you're ready to compete? Dude, if you've been training really hard and you've got a considerable amount of muscle, I mean, like I said, I was 270 or so pounds in an off season at this point, and moving a lot of weight in the gym. And this was only going to be one time thing, right? Let me just go out there, do this one time. I've been training all this time. I just want to see what it looks like shredded down. But I ended up winning this show, and that was kind of the start of it all. But even then, this was on a Saturday night. Went back to work Monday morning, right? I had no... Look at that rear double. That dude just smacked my ass. I had no intention of, making a career out of this. So it was just a bit of an evolution as time went on. To be young again, boy, what I would give to be 23 again. Next video we've got here. Oh, look how goofy I look. So young. So this was me at 24 years old. This was my second show. Not my favorite look. I was doing a keto diet for this one, and I was like pretty dieted down. I had gained muscle from that first show, but like the fullness wasn't there. It wasn't a real good hard look. By the time I got on stage here, I was really crisp. This was a couple days before the show, backstage, these weird company that used to be backstage that would film you. I was 24 years old here. I ended up competing as a super heavy. I think I was like 237 or so, and ended up competing in the supers and beating a really good super heavyweight and winning the overall. And that's officially what started my career, because then I got flown out to California by Muscular Development at the time to appear on a magazine cover. So that's what kind of made things official at that point. But in hindsight, I can't say I regret the path I chose, with the keto dieting or any of that, because, it all worked out. But do I think, as I went on, I learned a better balance and a better way to diet? Oh boy. Here's heavy duty, Evan. Look at these old Universal shaker cups. They weren't that great. They looked really nice, but the tops they pushed on, and every once in a while they would just blow off. God forbid if you put anything carbonated in them, forget it. They would just get launched across the room. But I would make my shakes, a couple scoops of protein. At the time, what's that on the counter? Look at that old thing. I think it's ISO Whey in the back. This must be me getting ready for my day.
Put a butter. Don't tell Dave.
Oh. Butter in the pan. Looks like I'm making breakfast. Oh, look at that. Look at the cans of Nitro Pack, Omega. Looks like an old thing of animal nitro powder in the background for those of you not familiar. Yep, that's a jug of ISO Whey.
Is actually in Brantford, Connecticut. It's not far from
local egg farm.
They're local eggs. They're fed a vegetarian diet.
They're fed a vegetarian diet. How lovely. Thank you, Evan. So I was probably like 300 pounds here. This was, look at the size of me. This was like 2008. I had turned pro already, and I was in between the Nationals and my first pro show, the New York Pro, and I was trying to get as big as I could. I knew I needed a lot more mass to compete with the big boys, and I was probably like 300 pounds. Look at the size of me, freaking big double chin, big arms, no neck, well, huge neck, but just goes like from my shoulders right into my head. Still living homes, my parents' kitchen. A lot of meals made in that kitchen, boy. But look at that. Was that 2, 3, 4, 6 eggs? Some animal pack, Oh, here we go. There it is. Eggs, ketchup, toast, maybe a little bit of orange juice. Or I don't know what's in that glass there.
And base it off of what I do with Dave pre-contest. I just add some more carbs, and if I'm not putting on weight, I just eat more food. It's really nothing.
Pretty simple.
Nothing exciting. It's pretty simple. It's just a pre-contest diet with more carbs and maybe extra meals if I need it.
It's a pre-contest diet with more carbs and extra meals if I need it. Yep, that was my off-season approach in a nutshell throughout my career. Take a pre-contest diet and just add food to it, but keep the base diet the same. I always kept things super simple. A lot of times people would have a tendency to complicate things and want to just drastically change things between pre-contest or off-season, and thinking that there's some magic out there. And as I went through my career, I mean, I learned it pretty early on that there is no magic. There's just hard work, consistency. You know, you got to put in the time in the gym. You got to do all those other things that make it work.
Bodybuilding and stuff. Every time I needed to eat, my mom wasn't going to cook for me. And if what she was cooking for dinner wasn't something that was, suitable to what I wanted, then, you're out of luck. You got to make it yourself. So.
So this is me talking about my tendency to, my love for cooking. Part of it was derived from me being just a fat kid and always wanting to eat, and my mom not being around. So, you're home by yourself. You're either going to cook something or not. So that was that. Look at that old school Animal Pack t-shirt. Look at that big fat baby face. Wow. Forgot I used to look like that. All right, what's the next video here? Cool. Who is this dude?
All right, guys. We're here today, about 14 weeks out from the Arnold, and figured maybe we do a little bit of pre-contest food preparation. I get a lot of questions in my thread about nutrition and food prep.
In my thread.
Got a lot of positive feedbacks on those videos in the past where I showed that, so I figured I'd give you guys a glimpse on, what I do every 4 or 5 days or so to prep for my meals in advance, and come check it out.
Here we go.
We got 10 pounds of fish.
10 pounds of fish.
10 pounds of chicken.
10 pounds of chicken.
And then a couple turkeys.
A couple turkeys.
Some fruits, vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables.
That's really, those are my staples.
4 days worth of food.
Outside of that, some rice and potatoes.
10 pounds of chicken, 10 pounds of fish,
In advance.
2 turkeys.
It's really simple.
4 days, people.
How I go about
This was 2011. At, what I say, 15 or 16 weeks out from the Arnold. I was an absolute unit here. This was like me. This was like peak Evan. All right. I was like 290 or so here. And
I found it's much more efficient.
not fat, full, strong.
Maybe twice a week, and just prep a whole bunch of stuff. Out of the 10 pounds of fish I have, the 10 pounds of chicken, all this stuff here, on average I get about 70, 80 grams of protein a meal for 6 meals a day for 4 or 5 days. The only thing that I prep the day of, I'll just boil some potatoes in the morning and prep some rice, take that with me. But everything else is made, and it makes stuff makes it a lot easier for me. It ensures that I always have my meals on me. I'm never at a loss for food or having to wonder, I'm gonna have to stop at this place.
I went years without missing meals. A single meal,
What I need.
okay? For probably the first 10 years of my bodybuilding career, I didn't miss a single meal. Or I could at least count on one hand the number of meals I missed. I took it so seriously. I did not miss meals. When it was time to eat, I ate. I always had my food with me. And as I said in this video, the key to that was prep. Always having that food available.
Then
What else does this dude have to say? This fucking overgrown mutant.
most of it's wild. It's just a plain white, low-fat fish, which when I'm eating a lot of it, a few times a day, I'm able to put more of it down. So it's not like I'm eating, 12 ounces of salmon or swordfish, something that has, such a high fat content that kind of, I'm not going to be able to eat as much of it.
It's too smart. I say the same thing to this day. People tend to look at certain foods like salmon, like red meat, as being somewhat magical, right? Because they're more nutrient dense, which is true. They are, and they are great foods. But for a bodybuilder who's trying to consume a massive volume of food on a daily basis, I don't think those foods are optimal. So I always ate a ton of white fish, okay, both pre-contest and off-season, because I could put it down so easy. I mean, you know how it is chewing cod or something like that. You barely have to chew it, which kind of gives you an insight as to how easily digested it is. So I ate a ton of white fish, and I stuck mainly to chicken and turkey. I did not eat a ton of steak. I would sometimes have it like one meal a day or salmon, but I mainly stuck to foods that would digest rapidly. White rice, white potato, chicken breast, fish, whole eggs, these things that would digest really efficiently. And that was kind of one of the impetus, one of the reasons behind Animal Meal, was to create something that digested easily, okay? So that when you're in an off season, you could add that to your meals without it taking up prime real estate in your stomach. And that's just kind of how I ran my whole career, was eating easily digested foods, and a lot of them, as you can see. Dude, I feel like I made eating my job. What's the next video? Oh, here we go. Okay. That was 15 weeks out from the 2011 Arnold, and here is the 2011 Arnold on stage. Let's take a look at this dude. Whew. Side chest is a good shot from me, but I don't know how good you're going to be able to see it from this angle. Can't see it a whole lot. See that shredded glute and hamstring though. Oh, rear double by. This was one of my better shots. Hamstrings tight, back tight. Yep. Calves, the whole bit. That was 2011. My daughter was born, was about to be born in like 8 weeks. I had a house that I was renovating, the house I live in currently. It needed a full-on restoration. I had to gut the whole thing, so I had the house going on. My daughter was on the way, and this was my first pro show. I'm sorry, not this one, but I competed 2 weeks prior to this in the Flex Pro, and that was my first pro show ever that I did myself. I didn't work with any coaches. And then this show also, I did it myself without the assistance of a prep coach. And I felt a lot of pressure, but it ended up working. I mean, look at the fullness there. Full, hard. This was good. I mean, for me, like anybody, you could point to guys who were better than me, of course, but for me, this was a good version of me. Sometimes I forget that I used to look like this. What's next here? Here we got the infamous John Meadows leg workout. John invited me out to
that's my goal, though.
Ohio to train.
Doing it until I can do that. But I there's really no way for me to put into words how those felt. Maybe you can put it into words.
Well, I could put it into words, right?
This for me was the surprise of the workout. This was the winner. And unfortunately, I think for most of you who are watching this, I don't think you're gonna quite. I don't know that if you're gonna be able to quite see. Well, obviously you can't see what it feels like.
Can't quite see or feel. Wow, I'm gonna size of my legs there.
Probably what it looks like.
Yeah, this was a brutal workout, and this is my first time ever doing Bulgarian split squats. Been doing them ever since. Great movement, and I ended up losing my breakfast. in this video
my mind because
hit my central nervous system pretty hard. And I was always a hard training dude in the gym. I know everyone thinks they train hard, but legitimately, I always stuck to compound movements, squats, deadlifts, barbell rows, heavy weight, high reps. So I was no stranger to that central nervous system pounding. But, you know, I was traveling. I was in a different environment. Things were a little bit off. So I don't know if it had something to do with that, but this hit me hard. And it didn't take long. Well, I made it through most of the workout, but then I had to have a seat. Next thing you know, I know Dave brings me the bucket and blah, barfed everywhere. Oh yeah.
Like you're just gonna lose it. And maybe the most valuable part of it was kind of
the video made its way around Evan
that you can
barfing every place.
using, you know, okay,
Yeah, that was a rough workout. John, rest in peace. Great guy. Maybe the best in the entire industry. Just a solid, well, man, still puking.
Truth be told, and this was something that John and I talking.
This one's for you, John.
Like, at some point, doing that.
John was a great guy through and through. Family man, good businessman, ethical. Everything he did was on the up and up, and there's not a person you're going to find anywhere in the industry who would have a single bad thing to say about John Meadows. He was just a great dude, and I miss him. He's somebody I would talk to fairly often just to catch up, and he's gone way too soon. What's next? Oh yeah, Oscar's Dungeon.
Has limitations that are self-imposed. Oh, I don't like to do this. Oh, this is too hard. Then I'll do it. You know, you have to be willing to. If you're an elite athlete, you have to be willing to let go of any self-imposed beliefs and fear and embrace the greatness that you are. And if you believe that, then you perform that way. And Evan didn't come here with a any type of negative mindset where I don't think I'm good enough or it wasn't nothing that he felt was so much lacking as far as just understanding how to do things a little better. But doing that, I got to understand that one of the things that I needed that to him to believe is to have a stronger, more dominant mindset.
I'll tell you right now, you guys don't even know what took place in that basement gym in Brooklyn. Absolute torture. Oscar and I first got together in 2009 when I was getting ready for the New York Pro. And I was like 8 weeks out, and we decided we were going to work together, and I started driving there, you know, 4 days a week down to Brooklyn. So it was about 2 hours down, 3 hours back because of traffic. It was a brutal process, man. It was brutal. And we got back together again in, this was 2015. All right, this video was at 9 weeks out from the Arnold Classic. And, you know, going through leg training and training with Oscar, man, it was just brutal. I can't tell you how many workouts ended with me just sitting down exactly where I was standing. Thankful that the workout was over. Sitting down, then laying down, and then waking up maybe 20 minutes later in a puddle of sweat from my own snoring, just waking myself up. It was exhausting. It was really rough. But, you know, they were great times, and it's kind of a testament to, you know, the lengths maybe you go to as a bodybuilder, as a competitive bodybuilder, as a competitive professional bodybuilder. And I guess maybe that's kind of the point in all this. As I'm looking at it now, several years, you know, having not been on stage and, you know, continuing to bodybuild, which I'm sure I'll do until I die. What I do now is very different from what I did then. And a lot of people would look at me now and say, oh, well, geez, man, you're still in great shape. Oh, geez, you're still huge. No, I mean, I'm a fraction of what I used to be. What I'm looking at right here, I ended up competing at the 2015 Arnold Classic on stage at 270 pounds. I'm 250 pounds right now. So I competed at 270, so shredded, versus right now being an off-season 250. So I'm probably as lean as you saw me in that other video. I was in my kitchen in the Red Animal t-shirt at 290. So 290 versus 250 with similar body fat percentage, yeah, dude, you're probably talking about 40 pounds of muscle that I used to carry that I don't carry now. And a lot of it was because I trained and I ate and I did everything in my life in accordance with that goal of being the biggest, baddest bodybuilder that I could be. And that's a whole different mind frame than somebody who says, well, you know, I want to get in shape, or I want to add some muscle, or I want some beach muscles, et cetera, et cetera. Man, competitive bodybuilding is a different level, and competitive bodybuilding at the pro level is a whole different animal. And when I think about the things I used to do in the gym, or the way I used to eat, oh my God, the quantities of food, the supplements, the training, more of everything. It's a lot. I mean, you heard me talking in that other video. I think I was taking in 6 meals a day, all whole food at the time. I was doing 10 ounces of protein per meal. So if it was chicken, turkey, fish, 10 ounces of that, another 10 ounces of rice or potato. Usually I would throw in 1 or 2 tablespoons of olive oil, multiply that times 6 meals a day. That's a lot of food, man. You saw that 10 pounds of chicken, 10 pounds of turkey, 10 pounds of fish, plus whole eggs, plus rice, potatoes, maybe some fruits and vegetables. And that was, what was that, three or 4 or 5 days worth of food? I think 4 days worth of food. Back then I used to cook 4 days at a time. And dude, back then I was spending over $20,000 a year on just my food, right? I mean, I've got a household here, but that was just my food bill. And that doesn't count going out to eat. That's just what I would spend in groceries. So it was a lot of everything. This has been it's been a cool trip down memory lane. It's kind of makes me feel like a bit of a pussy, to be honest with you. I feel like the old Evan would swallow this Evan whole. You forget. I mean, I look at that video, you know, the clip of me in the kitchen in the Red Animal shirt, and then getting on stage 15 weeks later at the Arnold, shredded, big, and you forget. But it's an extreme sport. It takes a lot. For those of you out there who, you know, have that aspiration, I tell you, God bless you. I wish you lots of luck with it. Be safe. Try to do it in the smartest way possible. By nature, it's something of an unhealthy sport. I mean, being that size in and of itself, not healthy. All that consumption, all that food, the supplements, everything else that comes along with it, not healthy. It's a lot. It's a lot on the body, as are other sports at an elite level as well, I guess, to be fair. Try to be safe. Try not to hurt yourself. And I wish you the best of luck. I'm going to write an article accompanying this, maybe to try to give a little bit of insight as to, you know, maybe what I was doing then versus what I'm doing now. And you guys could read that if you want to know a little bit more. As always, we appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. Comment below. Let us know what you want to see. So guys, until next time, I'll see ya. We appreciate you watching these videos. We appreciate your followship. Followship? We appreciate your followership.